Okay, in this video, we're going to be solving some questions that I gave to my students in SS1. So this was third term and it was the first test. So I made it over 30 so that I would, divide by 2 later on because the first test is meant to be 15. So let's proceed with the first question. It says, in the diagram, PQ is a straight line where m plus n is equal to 110, n plus r is 120, but to find the ratio m is to n is to r. So the first thing is, the angle on a straight line must equal 180 when you sum them up. So m plus n plus r should give 180 degrees. Now remember to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share it across to your classmates or your fellow classmates. Then you can always change the quality of the video so the video becomes very clear for you. So first, we've been told that m plus n is 110. So this is m plus n. So together, they sum up to 110. So 110 degrees plus r is equal to 180 degrees. Now to get r, I could say 180 take away 110 degrees. So r becomes 70 degrees. So that's the value of r. Let's move on. Again, still remember that m plus n plus r is equal to 180 degrees. Then the next part, we're told that n plus r is equal 120. So this means n plus r, and this is n plus r. That's n plus r. So n plus r is 120. And then we'll put our m. So I just replaced the n plus r with 120. So the m is going to be remaining equal to 180. So next, I'm going to move the 120 over to the other side. So m becomes 180, take away 120. So that's a minus. So m becomes 60 degrees. Now, of course, the third one that's remaining, so one of them is still remaining, which is n. Now, we know that m plus n plus r is equal to 180. So this means we know the value of m as 60. The value of n is not known, but r is 70. So what I just did was to put the numbers. So m is 60, n, we do not know what n is, then r is 70, equal to 180. So 60 plus 70 would give me 130. So that's n plus 130 because the n will still remain. So this is n plus 130 because I had to do 60 plus 70. So that gave me 130 and then plus the n. So the n is still going to be there. So the n is still remaining. All right. So this is equal 180. So this would then become n equal 180 take away 130. So I simply just subtract. N would then become 50. Now, if you look at this, the equation says find the ratio m is to n is to r. So the first value of m is 60. So this is 60 is to n is 50. So that's 50. And then is to r is 70. Okay. So what we're going to do is to reduce this. So this becomes all of the 10s will cancel out. So we divide by 10 degrees. That would be 6 is to 5 is to 7. So that's the answer. You solve that and you get a full 4 marks. Okay, so let's proceed. Question 2 says, in the diagram below, DC is parallel to AB. So we can also see this with this very symbol here. So the arrow shows that these two are parallel to each other. So we have to show that the triangle ABD is scalene. For us to show that something is scalene, we basically need to prove that none of the sides or none of the angles are equal. No side or no angle is equal. And in this case, we can most likely prove that no angle is equal because we have no sides. So first things first, I can see that there's a triangle right here. So this is a triangle. So I have a triangle here. So for this triangle, it's almost complete. I just have one angle left. Just one angle left. So this very angle here, I could say that angle CDB, angle CDB is 180 minus, okay, hold on, let me just do it this way. I'm going to say sum of angle in a triangle is 180. So 95 degrees plus 47 degrees plus whatever that angle is. So let's just say angle CDB. You always put the position of the angle at the middle. So the angle is positioned at D. So D should be the center later. All right, so this will equal to 180. Now we're going to add up 95 and 47. So that should give us around 142, if I'm not mistaken. So let me just confirm that. So 95 plus 47. Yeah, that's 142. So 142 degrees plus angle CDB equal to 180. So this means to get the angle, I need to subtract 142. So I'll take the 142 to the other side. So this becomes angle CDB equal 180, take away 142 degrees. So angle CDB is equal 38 degrees. Okay, so the angle right here is 38 degrees. Okay. Now, if you notice, for this very question, I didn't really, to my students watching this, I did not really say you should state reasons, or, of course, that would make your work look much more neater. But I did not explicitly say you don't need to, be so strict by following this concentrated way of writing angles. For now, I'm not really paying attention to this. That's why if you notice, for a few of your classmates that put the correct angle at this position, I gave them some mark for it. So if you're able to put the correct angle at this position, because you can write on this paper, since you submitted it after answering it, you can always write back on this paper and you submit it back to me. So if you place the correct angle here and you just did some working, so I think there was a student that just did 180 minus 95 minus 47. That shows they kind of have an idea of what they're doing. So this is 38. Now, if you do just this, here's one thing about the marking scheme. If you do just this, I would award you no mark because I have no idea where the 38 is being positioned. If someone says, okay, angle CDB, the person will get full marks for that very step. But if you did not write this, neither did you position the angle at this location, you're not getting any mark for it. I award you no marks. Okay, so let's continue. Let us continue. Okay, so if you look at this, if this angle here is 38 and these lines are parallel, it means the angle right here, so this angle here also has to be 38 because they're alternate angles. They're alternate angles. Now, if you just do this for me in the diagram, I am not really I'm still gonna give you your mark for that very step. I think this is 4 marks. Oh, 3. So I think I did it this way. 1, 1, 1. That was what I did. Okay, so if you can be able to put this angle here, you get another mark for that. So for this very one, you could say that the angle DBA, the angle is at B. So here's it. The angle is at B, so B will be at the middle. Now from B, this line where the arc goes to is D. So this line connects to D. The other one connects to A. So we can say angle ABD or angle DBA. The B has to be in the middle. So let me say ABD. So it's equal to 38. You can then put alternate angles. Okay. So let's proceed. Well, it's actually good for geometry equations to put a reason. It's very important, especially circle theorems. Good. So, for this very problem, the next thing is this triangle, the only thing left is for us to find the angle right here. This angle right here. Because the triangle ABD is this triangle here. This is the triangle ABD. That color for that. So this is the triangle ABD. So let me find all the angles in it. So there's just one left. I could even say let it be X. So this means X plus 100 plus 38 will give 180, because angles in a triangle should be 180. So this is X plus 138 equal to 180. So X will then become 180 degrees, take away 138 degrees. Right, so this will give me 42 degrees. Okay, and then you place 42 here. Now, to just show that you know what you're doing, there's a concluding statement that you should write. You should write that since all angles, or you could say since no angle is equal in triangle ABD, it is scalene. It is scalene. So that's just it. And then you get your full marks. Question 3 says, for each pair below, state the condition why they are congruent. So when a shape is congruent, they're basically the same. They're exactly the same. However, they could have been rotated, they could have been turned, reflected, and what have you. Okay, now in this case, they're actually saying that these are congruent, but there are conditions for congruency. So let's look at this first one. For this first one, we notice that these sides are the same. So we have sides. The 10 here is also the same. That's another side. Then next, the angle is included. Like the angle is in between these two sides. So we call this included angle. We call this included angles. So it has to be in between those very sides. So the condition for this is side angle side. That's the condition for it. Side angle side. That's the condition for that. Okay, the A here goes for the included angle. Now this one is very, very direct. This one is SSS. SSS because we can see that these two are the same to start with. 14 and 14 the same. 10 and 10 the same. So all of these sides, each side here matches up with corresponding sides here. So the length is the same in both of them. So that's side, side, side. Because clearly it's the same. This triangle has 6.5, 14, and 10. These are the sides. This triangle also has 6.5, 10, or you could say 14 and 10. It's a congruent triangle. They're exactly the same if the sides are the same in each pair. Okay, so that's just one mark. Let's proceed. Question 4. Here is a pentagon. Angle A is equal to angle C. Angle B is 120 degrees. Angle D is 3 times the size of angle C. And angle E is 3 times the size of angle C. What are the size of angle A? Now for this very problem, we're looking for just A. First thing is, sum of interior angles in the pentagon is 540. Now how do we do this? The formula is n minus 2 times 180 degrees. So n is the number of sides, and in this case it's 5. So 5 minus 2 times 180 degrees. So this is 3 times 180 degrees, and that's 540. So when we sum up all the angles, A plus B plus C plus D plus E, we're going to get 540. Okay, so in the equation, we're looking for angle A. Now, angle A is equal to angle C. So this means C is also equal to A, because angle A is equal to angle C. Next, B is 120. So this is 120. Angle D is 3 times angle C. Now, D right here is 3 times C. And C is actually A. So that's 3A. Listen, D is 3C. But we know that C is actually A. So that's 3A, because angle A and angle C are the same. So that's 3A. And then angle E is 3 times angle C. Angle C is still A, so that's just 3A. So putting all this together, I will still have my A. My B is 120 degrees. C is equal to A. D is 3A. And then E, hold on, wait. This is 2 times E is 2. Yeah, E is 2, sorry. That's 2A, equal to 540 degrees. So now let's add up all our A's together first. So A plus A is 2A. 2A plus 3A is 5A. 5A plus 2A is 7A. So we've added all our A's together. And then plus 120 degrees equal 540 degrees. So the next is to subtract 120 degrees. So we're going to take the 120 to the other side. So this will be 7A equal 540 degrees minus 120 degrees. So 7A is equal 420 degrees. So to get the value of A, we're going to divide both sides by 7. So when you do that, you're going to get 60. So that's the value of A. All right, let's move to the next. Okay, question 5. 3 angles of a quadrilateral are 40, 40, and 140. These are the 3 angles. So the first thing I would like to do in this case is to actually sum up these 3 angles. Let's sum them up. 40 plus 40 plus 140. They should give around 240. Let me see. 220. Okay. So this is the sum of the 3 angles. Now, if it's a quadrilateral, all the angles should actually sum up to 360. All should sum up to 360. So this means that to get the fourth angle, we need to do 360 minus 220. So when you do this, you're going to get 140 degrees. Now, another way to solve this is to say, let the fourth angle be x. Then we're going to do 40 plus 40 plus 140. So this is the sum of the 4 angles. This is the fourth angles, and then this is the other 3, equal 360 degrees. So this will be x plus 220 degrees equal 360 degrees. So x would then become 360 degrees minus 220 degrees. So x is 140 degrees. So that's another way to do that. Okay, so that's it. Now the next question is, write down a possible name for this quadrilateral. So I have to write a possible name for it. First of all, what do we notice? Here's what we're noticing. We're noticing that it's like there's a pair here. Look. So this is 40, 40, 140. And then when we found the other angle, we also noticed it was 140. So there's a pair here. Then next, if you sum these 2 up, you're going to get 180. And these 2 up, you're also going to get 180. This is going to be a parallelogram. Now, why is that? Now, it's this way because it cannot be a rectangle to start with. A rectangle and a square would have 90 degrees all over. Now, for a parallelogram, you need to know that, let me see if this can automatically, that's not perfect. Okay, maybe that's okay. So if this is a parallelogram, the angles here must add up to 180. The angles here must add up to 180. So if this was 40, this will then become 140. Then this will become 40, and this will become 140. This is what we have. This is a parallelogram. That's what it is. Now, it could not have also been a trapezium, Meanwhile, take note, I'm going to ask a question. Something is going to come up like this in the exam. Just study the practice questions for the exams. Question 6. Shown below are 6 triangles. The question is, which 2 triangles are congruent to triangle P? Which 2 triangles are congruent to triangle P? The first thing you want to do in this case is, you want to look at the triangle P to get the condition first. So you want to get what we have in this very triangle. First, here's what we're noticing. The 4.6 is opposite to 71. So we could see that there's a side here. There's a side, and then there are 2 angles. So it's angle, side. That's what we can see here. Angle, side. And then let me not say most important, but what's very important here is the 71 is opposite to 4.6. So we're going to look for other triangles like that. So next thing is, let's see this one. The 64 here is opposite to 4.6, so it cannot be this one. Let's not even waste our time. Next one, this one looks nice because the 71 is opposite to 4.6 and there's a 64 degrees. Take note, the angle and the angle match up. The side also matches up and it's opposite to that exact angle as it were in triangle P. So R is one of the triangles. So I'm going to put R. Next, let me look at S. Well, this is 45, this is 64, this is 4.6. It's opposite this angle here, but let's find what this angle is, because in this case, I don't know what this angle is. So let's look for it. To look for this angle, since the sum of angles in a triangle is 180, all we have to do is 180 minus 45 minus 64. So when we do this, we're going to get 71. So the angle here is 71. And again, this matches because 71 is opposite to the 4.6. So this is also a congruent triangle to P. It's congruent to triangle P. Now, triangle T is not congruent because the 4.6 was supposed to be opposite to 71. So this is a wrong choice. Then here, it's opposite to 45. So this is also a wrong choice. So the answer is just R and S. Okay. Next one, question 7. A part, or part of a regular polygon is shown. So it was a diagram that was not drawn completely. It says, assume that the polygon is a decagon. You have to find the value of x. So since it's not complete, we could assume that the polygon is anything since it's an incomplete diagram. First thing we notice is x is an interior angle. X is an interior angle. It's an angle that is on the inside. Okay. Because we know a polygon is a closed figure, so it could have been something like this. And then, yeah. So it's going to be an interior angle. So there are different ways to find this. First things first. We could say that the sum of interior angles is n minus 2 brackets 180 degrees. Now, how many sides does this have? It says, assume it's a decagon. Assume it's a decagon. That's what the question says. So 10 minus 2, a decagon has 10 sides times 180 degrees. So 10 minus 2 is 8. So we're going to have 8 times 180 degrees. And then 8 times 180 is 1440. So that's just the answer. That is the value of x. That's the value of x. So you do that, you get 2 marks. Now, most students also went through this route. So remember that the exterior angle of a shape is 360 degrees divided by the number of sides. So 360 degrees divided by 10, because in this case, we are having, what's it called? This shape has 10 sides. So this will become 36. Meanwhile, hold on, I just noticed something. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to this, please. So what we got here, the sum here, please, hold on. The sum here is the sum of all of the angles. The sum here is the sum of all the angles here. X is just one of them. X is just one of them. So what this means is, to get the value of X, we need to do 1440 divided by 10. So this is 144. That's the final answer. Let me explain why I did that. So the polygon is a decagon. The sum of all the angles in a decagon gives us 1440. Now, X is just one of them. X is just one of the angles that's on the inside, because there's going to be an angle here, there's an angle here, there are angles here. So since the shape is a regular polygon, meaning all of the angles are equal, so the 1440 will be shared equally across the 10 sides. That's why I did divided by 10. I forgot to do that. Sorry. Okay, so let me continue with those students that followed this route. Most of my students that went through this route ended up getting only 1 mark out of a 2-mark question. Because when you're done doing this, what you have gotten is the exterior angle. To get the interior angle, you need to remember that interior angle plus the exterior angle must give you 180. So this means to get the interior, all we need to do is to say 180 minus 36. So this will be 144. So that's another way to do it. So let's move on to the next one. Oh, this next one is a little bit kind of tricky. It deals with relationship between things. It says, in fact, the polygon has more sides than a decagon. Now, let's go back to the question. Remember, the question says assume. The A part says assume that the polygon is a decagon. So we assumed. We didn't know the actual figure. It was just an assumption that it's a decagon. So the question is, what if it actually had more sides than a decagon? What do you think will happen? Do you think that the value of X that we got, would it be more? Would it be the same? Would it be less? Or would it have been anything? Like, could it have been any of this? So what one has to do here is very simple. Let's come back to what we just solved. Let me use this first analogy, the first one. First, the sum of interior angles is more when the sides increase. Do you know? So here's how I know that it is more. Remember that we have n minus 2 times 180, right? Good. So let's say it was a pentagon, which is 5 sides. We're going to do 5 minus 2 times 180. So that's 3 times 180. So that's 540. So this is when it's just 5 sides. Then when it was 10 sides, so something higher, we now got 1440. So if for any reason, let's say we divide this by 5, it's a pentagon, right? Since it's a pentagon, to get each value of X, when you divide this by 5, you should get around 108. Now, when we did the one for a decagon, we had 144. What does this tell us? This is the value of X when it's 5. So we went down. So when it's 5 sides. But now, we are comparing it with 10, which is more than 5. So we can see that you're going to get more, because if 5 sides give us 108, 10 sides gives us 144. That means the more the number of sides, the more the value of X. So the answer is, it's more than the answer in part A. That's it. But if we're talking about the exterior angle, just the exterior angle alone, the reverse is the case. But this one was talking about the interior angle. So let's continue. This was the part that many persons did not really attempt so much. And the thing is, what I did was, I gave this as a homework and only a few students solved it. I gave this very question and I said, take it home, give it a try to solve it. Only a few students attempted the question. Then I brought it out in the test and many students avoided it. Well, here's the solution. First things first, many students in class struggle with fractions. So I've already explained that to them last 2 weeks, that they all need to go back to fractions. Again, it's very important. So for this very problem, the sum of angles on a straight line is 180. So this means when we sum this up, a half of x minus 10 plus a third of x plus 40 is equal to 180. When we sum it up, we're going to get 180. So next, let's kind of bring the x close. So 1 over 2x plus 1 over 3x. And then let's add this up. Minus 10 and plus 40. Minus 10 plus 40 is plus 30. Equal to 180 degrees. Now I could do LCM here. So the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. Then 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 1x is 3x. Plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 times 1x is 2x. And then plus 30 degrees equal to 180 degrees. Now 3x plus 2x is 5x divided by 6. We can take this 30 to the other side. So that's 180, take away 30. Now this is 5x over 6 equal 150. Now to get the value of x, we need to do something very easy. Since this is 5 over 6, to find just x, we multiply by the opposite of it. Look here, you have 5 over 6 x. If you need just x, all you have to do is to times by 6 over 5. So that the 6 will cancel out the 6, 5 will cancel out the 5. So I'm going to say x is equal 150 degrees times 6 over 5. That's the opposite of this one. If this method is not nice for you, you could put an over 1 here and you cross multiply. Your answer will still be the same. So you could use cross multiplication. Now when you're done with this, you're going to get s as 180. So the value of x is equal to 180 degrees. So this is what we have. Now let's find the value of the angles. Let's find the values of the angles. So for this very one, you could still, there's still some space. So we have half of x minus 10. So x is 180. What is half of 180? That's 90. So this is 90 minus 10, which is 80. Next one is 1/3 of x plus 40. What is 1/3 of x? So we're going to divide 180 degrees by 3. So that's 60. Plus 40, that's 100. So the equation says, work out the ratio of the smaller angle to that of the larger angle. So the smaller angle here is 80 is to 100. So we're going to cancel out this, and then we're going to have 80 is to 10. Now you can still simplify this by dividing by 2. So that's 4:5. So the final answer is 4:5. But if you left it as 8:10, some students left it as 8:10. Some students even left it as 8:100. I still gave full marks for that. That was 5 marks. Next one, this will be the last question for today. So ABC and BCD are isosceles triangles. We can see that from the marks on the segments, this line segment. Okay. So AB is equal BC equals CD. That's what we're trying to see here. Then angle CAB is equal 80 degrees. Okay, so that's what we can see here. CAB is 80. Then angle BCD is 4 times angle ABC. So I think at this point we can start solving. Now, if you look at this diagram, this line here, these two lines are equal. Now, what I normally tell my students is kind of move an arrow across to see what angle is opposed to this very side. So this is the angle opposite to this very side. Then this angle is opposed to this very side. what it tells me is these two have to be equal. So it means that the angle right here is equal to 80 degrees. Because in an isosceles triangle, the base angles are equal to each other. So I could say angle ACB is equal 80 degrees. And that's because they are isosceles. So that's it. Now the next one is to find the angle right here. And that's ABC. So I need to find ABC. So the angle ABC, the sum of angles in a triangle is 180. So to get ABC, all I need to do is, since the whole sum has to be 180, and I'm looking for just the third one, all I have to do is 180 minus 80 minus 80. Because the first one here is 80, next one here is 80. If everything should add up to 80, and we already have these two as 80, 80, it means we need to remove them from the 180. So this will give us 20 degrees. So the answer here is 20. Now let's move on. The next thing, angle BCD is 4 times angle ABC. So where is BCD? It's right here. It says B, so we're going to move from B, C, and then to D. So the angle is right here in the middle. So here. Now they said it's 4 times angle ABC. Remember that angle ABC is 20. So 4 times that is 80. So the angle right here is 80. So angle BCD is equal 4 times 20, which is 80. So that's what we have. Okay, now if this is 80, now look at this very line. This is the angle opposite to it. So it's opposite to this very one. Then next, look at this very line here. So this side, the angle opposite to it is this very one. So this tells me that these two have to be the same. These two base angles have to be the same value. Now, if the sum of angles in a triangle is 180, and one side is already 80, that's this guy right here. This guy is already 80. Out of the 3 sides, this is already 80. So what's left is 100. Now, this very 100 that we see has to be shared equally between these two. So if we share equally between these two, we're going to just have to divide it by 2. So this becomes 50, 50. It becomes 50, 50. So there was a student that did, what's it called? He called these two angles X. So he then did S plus X plus 80 equal to 180. So 2X plus 80 equal 180. Then 2S equal 180, take away 80. So 2x is equal 100. So to get S, he did 100 over 2. And then he got his 50. Now, the equation says, find the size of angle ABC to the size of angle CBD. So this is CBD, 50. CBD is 50. So this is CBD. So that's 50. So remember that our angle ABC is 20. So ABC is 20, then BCD is 50. So if you reduce this, we'll get 2:5. That is the answer to that very problem. So that's it for this very video. Just in case you're not my student, I'm going to be making videos of questions I give to my students. You could try them out before I solve the problem. I'm going to see you in the next video. For now, bye.